Entire way.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Same with 8. Yeah, and as we kind of mentioned before in other meetings, with the bond program and with so much of the city's infrastructure kind of being in disrepair, the bond program itself, we're focusing on currently paved roadways and the issues we have on those roadways. We realize we have a lot of east-west streets that are unimproved roadways, but instead of creating new roadways, we wanted to kind of fix the ones we have.
Gotcha.
Correct.
So where will the money come from for the 9th, for instance?
Commissioner Hardy?
We have a penny sales tax, right? And because other cities chose not to get it, we're actually getting some extra money. So that is, I think, the best source of funds to take care of those quickly. If we wait for CDBG funds to come in year by year, it's going to take a while to wait. It's been taking a while.
Mm-hmm.
But there are only like 2.5 miles left, I think, in the whole city of unpaved roadway. Now, there are lots of unpaved alleyways and easements and things like that. But a roadway, there are only 2.5 miles. And that's why I asked, if you're really interested, give public comment, because there are 4 other commissioners and not all of them are on the same page when it comes to roads and even unpaved roads being a priority with that money.
11th, or F Street between 10th and 11th North.
Yes.
Special provisions, there's no mill and overlay there, it's solid concrete. It's 8 inches of concrete with a little bit of asphalt laid on top of it.
Yeah,
Is there something,
if it's asphalt,
there's no shell rock existence there. It's solid concrete.
okay.
Been that way since the day I
Yeah,
lived
I
there.
remember that in the geotech report. So yeah,
As far as,
we'll probably, we probably will still mill and overlay it back to asphalt, but I don't know. We have to think about that, because just because it's concrete doesn't mean it's to roadway standards either. So I'm thinking it was 4-inch thick concrete. No, you're saying it's much more?
oh yeah, I've been through it.
Okay. Well, we'll have to look at that. I don't know
Yeah.
that I have an answer for you on that right now, but
Yeah, well, everything ties together with the curb pieces that are in sections, and
right.
it's not new roadway construction, that's been there for a lot of years.
Mhm.
And as far as the program that came out for all the traffic that was done several years back, and we came down to meetings for about the speeding and the traffic and problems, somehow along the way, F Street between 10th and 13th got neglected, and it got pushed over to G Street for a traffic problem between 10th and 13th. I don't know who wound up with it or even where that study went.
And this was a traffic study that was done?
Yes.
And how long ago do you think it was? How many years ago?
Wasn't that long ago. It was since 10th Avenue was rebuilt. Because since they rebuilt 10th Avenue and closed off all the streets where people can't turn into every block, F Street has turned into a major freeway.
I believe that was done back in 2009 or 10. It wouldn't have been after 2010, because it was completely a year before I got here, and I got here in 2011.
Well, there was, I mean, they sent us out papers, and they had where they were looking to do some traffic calming, and they kind of missed the block that they were working on.
I can, because those projects for 6th and 10th, those were CRA projects. I can get with Joan over to CRA and see what traffic studies were done back then, because we pretty much got a copy of everything that's been done, so I'm not sure which one that is. But we'll look into it if it was part of the whole 10th Avenue.
Because we've sent in so many petitions, talked to commissioners, not you yet. Sign stuff, they suggested we go down and get neighbors to sign, and for the speeding problem or whatever on the street. About zero result on it.
Jamie?
Yes, sir.
could you, it's been a while since I read it and looked at it, but you sent me kind of like a draft of a policy we might be coming out with as far as people who have traffic issues. and
Yeah, the traffic calming
issues.
policy, yep.
Could you, I guess, maybe go into a little bit the process and the steps for somebody who's concerned about traffic issues and speeding on the street?
Somewhat.
Okay.
We basically put together a draft traffic calming policy for citywide that kind of addresses all of the different traffic issues in the city and how that process would work if someone, in front of your home or at a particular location felt that there was a traffic calming issue and there was excessive speeding, how that whole process would work. So we kind of put together a whole draft policy, and at some point, I know we're busy with a lot of other things, we're kind of pushing through the commission right now, but at some point, when the city manager is comfortable putting that on, we're gonna bring that to the commission so everyone can actually get input in the workshop. And then the goal is to actually finalize that so we have an actual citywide traffic calming policy, so it's in concrete.
Which is needed, this.
Yeah.
It's very much needed. All of us, and basically all of us get a lot of emails and calls about traffic, right? But basically, the way that we have been addressing it hasn't been uniform or taken into account, considerations and concerns other than one-on-one correspondence that commissioners have. And that's not good. And I think probably as a city, right, we should be trying to put together policies that could be applicable to any particular place. So if you have, if you have an issue, going forward, please avail yourself of this policy when we can get it in place. I'd love for you to be the first person who uses it, because it'd be a good thing to.
Yeah, well, we did get a couple speed limit signs out of the,
Yeah.
that haven't really done a lot, but we did get a couple of those posted.
So this is F between 10th and 13th?
Well, that's the raceway. I looked at your paper between the 10th and 11th where I'm at, and 11th Avenue paving, they've been talking about that for so many years that I've been there. It's to pave between A and F. It's somebody's dream.
My dream.
There's an issue on that was before you came on board. 9th and 11th were supposed to be paved back when the MU East zoning district was made, the mixed-use district. And the idea was that now, since it was not all residential, but it was residential and commercial, they would need to be able to get ambulances and fire trucks in that neighborhood. So 9th and 11th were to be paved as part of the change to MU East, I think it was. And that was the reason I was all in favor of that rezoning, even though nothing seems to have happened from it because commercial just isn't happening in that area. But that was promised as part of that rezoning, that 9th and 11th would be paved. That's a little ammunition for you.
Thank you.
Yes.
On 19th Avenue, the speeding on that street is bad. From A Street to Dixie Highway, because the people who live on those apartments back there, they want to eat the road, I guess. Yeah.
I was going to bring this suggestion to you guys after this meeting because it didn't really have to do with the bonds. But have you guys considered putting the stop signs at 19th and A Street? Because if you think about it, and I know it's only 2 blocks from 17th, but they really do. Last month, Captain Bear had PBSO out there, and they wrote over 24 tickets in one day from speeders coming from 17th going up A Street, passing 22nd Avenue in that area that we're always complaining about. And I was driving it the other day, and I'm putzing along. Of course, somebody's right on my tail because I'm not quite going fast enough for them, but I live in the neighborhood, so I don't go very fast. But I thought, it would really stop those people coming from Brentwood that blow through the stop sign at 22nd, and they're usually hitting their mark right around that little S curve,
Yeah.
and they have to stop there. And then the same thing going in the other direction, because you're picking up speed going around that little S curve, going north on A Street. And I thought that would kind of put a little bit of a damper on it, if that was possible.
We can certainly look into that as part of the design. Sure.
And I thought that might be a pretty good preventative.
Sure. And especially with
From now.
the new development going in,
Yeah.
that maybe it adds.
Absolutely.
Definitely a good suggestion.
I think I mentioned it to Mr. Thompson.
Did you? Okay.
When you say that this is year 2, is there a month, is this from March to March of 19, or what are the dates?
No, the bond program split up into a four-year
Four-year.
program. The city is anxious to get the work started. So even though we probably haven't been working on this for 2 years, they've compressed the schedule towards the front. So it's not really calendar year 2. It's just year 2 work. And I think we're looking at probably at the first of the year. Is that this one? Yeah. After the first of the year?
After the first of 2018?
So the first of
At the beginning.
2018 is year 1, or is that beginning of year 2?
You're asking about when this
Year
would
two.
be going, when
Yeah,
this
when
would
it-
be
when is
started,
year two?
construction? Well, again, it started out the calendar year 1 and 2 and year 3 and 4. But now it's just a label, because we're basically we're working on year 1, we haven't gone to construction yet, but that's gonna go to construction probably before the end of the year. And then year 2, we're just kind of getting started on the design right now for year 2. And that's probably gonna start the construction after the first of the year sometime.
And I think the way that we've explained it with the years, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, is that each of the projects that are assigned per year, we are working to getting those roads within that project completed in a year. So when we begin, like, this is year 2, but it's going to take 1 year from beginning to end to do that project.
And it's all dependent on the start date.
Right.
Apologize for being late, but just for a quick recap, are you guys planning to make the roads even and finally like fix the potholes around those areas?
Right, so just, the plan is to mill all the roads that we've indicated here, and I can go through. You have a specific road you want to talk about, or I can?
Richard Lane, 14th Avenue North.
Okay, so in all the roads that are in here, we're gonna mill and overlay, so
Uh-huh.
grind up the first inch of asphalt and put new asphalt down,
Okay.
do the striping, fix broken curb, fix broken sidewalk. You're on 14th,
Right, yeah.
right? So that one, there's 5 houses between Richard and Clark
Mm-hmm.
on the south side that have their water services in the back of the house. So we're gonna bring those water services and open cut the street to tie it into existing water main in 14th.
Okay.
So after that's done, then we'll mill and overlay just between Clark and the I-95 sound wall. And then replace all the signs, traffic signs and the street signs.
Okay.
Put some dead end signs at the noise wall, because right now it's just a guardrail, if I remember, with
Yeah.
some fence behind it. So that's pretty much what we're doing
Okay.
down on that end.
My question is because I've been here. I grew up in Lake Worth.
Mhm.
They've done this project like many years over, and of course, the same people on the seats on the commission wasn't here because they haven't been in office yet. I heard the same story for like 10, 15 years before I became a homeowner in Lake Worth. Who do we hold accountable if it's not done right? Because we, as a taxpayer and as a homeowner and our property taxpayer, I researched that some projects in Lake Worth that were done or not done properly, and the city like forced us to double dip twice. Some projects around 6th Avenue South, and it's not our leadership. It wasn't their fault at the time because they had nothing to do with it. But who do we hold them accountable if it's not done right the first time? Because doing roads, if you don't do it right the first time, the potholes, erosion is going to keep coming. It's going to keep adding onto the bill. So who do we hold accountable if it's not done right? You know, because I want this as much as anybody because I do live there. I love the city of Lake Worth. I want it done right the first time, be over it, so you guys can focus on other streets and other neighborhoods that need attention and need nice roads, and increase the property value up, of course.
Right. Well, all the design work is being done typically per Florida Department of Transportation design standards.
Okay.
And the contractors that will be doing the work will be required to have the proper licenses and experience to be doing the paving work or the pipeline work or whatever that it is that they're under contract to do.
Okay.
Then the engineers and the city will have inspectors to make sure that the work is being done in accordance with the approved plans.
Okay.
You know, I think that, you know, there's, I can't say there's never been a situation where someone, either in the design at the city, at a contract or whatever, that maybe shortchanged something or halfway did something, but that's not how this project's gonna go. We've got bond money that the city's held accountable for that. There's reporting that has to be done for the bond monies. You can't just say, oh, thanks for the $40 million and not have to do any extensive reporting
Right.
back to how that money's spent. And there's a committee,
Oversight
there's
committee.
an oversight committee.
Yeah,
that-
and also,
that's
let
looking
me
at-
answer your question. I'll be held accountable.
Okay.
Get his name.
Jamie and I want to share the love, but, you know, Jamie and I are both department directors on water and sewer utilities.
Okay.
Jamie's public services. I've been doing this in South Florida for 37 years, been overseeing over $2 billion worth of construction
Okay.
projects in my career in this county alone. And I will make sure that it's done right.
Okay, good.
Overseeing the whole effort, making sure we got the correct professionals in place to do the design work. The contractors that are properly licensed, as Rebecca said, are going to be doing the right thing. And we've got inspectors out there all the time. We'll be watching these jobs, make sure everything gets done right. So there's nothing that happened in the past is going to
Right.
happen on this
Thank you.
program.
You have a card?
I got a few cards. I'll read them up front.
Thank you, appreciate it.
So-
Thank you. I appreciate. I'm just a concerned citizen.
Oh, I
so-
understand, and, you know, we're all excited that, you know, the
Yeah.
funding's there now and that this is moving forward and the city's anxious to advance all the work that's being proposed, not just in District 2, but all the other districts. And we've got a lot of contractors chomping at the bit. Everybody's excited for the work, you know, and to have it happen because, there has been neglected areas in not just Lake Worth, but, you know, the economy went down.
Yeah, of course.
Nobody did anything for probably 5 years in a lot of cities, and now funding's there, and we're all ramped up and ready to get going, and, you know, I think everybody's excited, and the other thing I neglected to mention was, one, you know, we have these public meetings now where we're getting, you know, input from everybody on what their concerns are. Then when there's a website, lakeworthroads.com,
That's .org.
.org, sorry. Then
It
when
should be on the flyer.
yeah, then when the
Okay.
construction starts, we have a meeting before the construction starts and invite everybody that's going to be impacted. And when the contractor's out on site, you'll have phone numbers to call the contractor, our inspectors, the city's representatives. You'll be able to go on the website, you'll be able to have a hotline. You can, run out there with your coffee in the morning and yell at the guy, and he's gonna say, what can I do to help you? That's, we're gonna have a lot of public involvement from start to finish. We're not gonna just show up one day with the bulldozers and
All right.
not,
And the
not
plans.
let you know.
Right, and then actually, when the plans are finalized, we'll also put them on the website.
Okay.
Yeah, so you'll have plenty of opportunities, and we hope you do tell us, if there's an issue. We don't want, we want to inconvenience everyone as least as, as little as possible during construction, and, we want to hear from you guys. That's why we're glad when, people show up. We hate to have these meetings and have no one come.
Who put the cards, the things on our houses?
That was our public involvement.
Because mine was on the street.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Well, they can't put it in your mailbox, so did it maybe blow off your doorknob or something?
It wasn't a doorknob thing, it was just a regular piece of paper that just happened to
Because it's
look
supposed
on
to
it.
be in a plastic baggy-like thing that has a hole in it, hangs on the
It wasn't
door.
on my street.
All right,
Check
we'll
that, yeah.
find out.
How was yours?
And there's probably
It was on
only,
my
as I
door.
said, there's only
Was it
three
in a
of us
plastic
who would
container?
care.
No, it wasn't.
That's
It was
what
just sticking out the
There's only-
doorknob.
There's only 3
We
houses.
never got an answer
Yeah,
for that.
It's one family who owns the whole place.
Well, like on, you mentioned those, I think it's Crestwood, those apartments on Crestwood. We put on every door in those apartments, we put a notice, so.
No, I just happened to be outside and I saw something on the street and I looked it up. and I
Apologize
was
for
like,
that,
"Holy
yeah, I apologize for that. We were hoping to get everybody noticed with their own flyer on it, in a plastic bag, on a door hanger, a door hanger plastic bag, so.
Now, when you talk about repairing and replacing curbs only as required, so you're using the same curb design, the sort of the thickened sidewalk design. I mean, there are other curb designs that could
Yeah.
be used.
If we're just taking out 10 or 15 feet of curb because it's broken, we're just gonna match what was there before. We're not gonna put some different type of curb. So the contractor can match the form of it. They can, even if it's like an old-fashioned kind of curb that they don't typically do anymore, they can form that up and
But
match
the
it.
corners will be removed and replaced with
Yeah, at the
code
intersections,
compliant.
yes. That's every intersection will have, basically, as you come around the curb radius, that'll all be taken out, like a pie wedge. And they'll put ramps down so that they're Americans with Disability Act compliant. And then they'll have those yellow rubber mats with the domes on them. That's a standard, DOT standard requirement, and we put that at every intersection that's in the project.
When is the start date? again,
For construction, probably after the beginning of the year,
For this set of projects.
Yeah.
for this.
This is a year 2 set.
Yeah, so we already had a previous meeting, in June, I believe it was, for year 1 project, which includes 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th Avenue North between A and F.
Okay.
We also did 20th Avenue North from Park to the dead end, whatever that, forget that building back there. And then G from 13th to 10th Avenue North in District 2. Now, there's other projects in District 1, 3, and 4 as well, but this is just District 2.
Okay, so as a residents, when you guys start construction on Richard Lane, are you guys gonna work on one lane at a time, split the road up in one lane so we can get in and out to work?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you'll, the engineer, we decide, tell the contractor, okay, here's how we want you to make sure these people can get in and out. can only close one lane, one side of the road at a time, or if you have, let's say they have to dig a trench, which they don't really have to on your street, but they would have to have a flagman maybe and help people get around the equipment and close, and at the end of the night, they can't leave any trenches open regardless of what they were working on that day, because that's just too much liability for cars.
So you'll be able to access that road during the
Right.
evening.
Right. And then the contractor will have a maintenance of traffic plan for any work he's doing in the road. And as I was saying before, you got here, they make sure the garbage man can get in there, the mail delivery, emergency vehicles. If you have any special circumstances at your house, you can contact us and we'll make sure that, you can get in and out. You might have to park your car on maybe the front, in your driveway and instead of the street or something like that, but we'll make sure you can get in and out.
Okay.
And we'll also be creating construction flyers too during that period of time that's instructional. Again, if you have any questions, there's the hotline, and also you can email on the website.
Yeah, and then if you're one of the houses that they're moving your water service, you'll get a notice from the contractor. In 2 days, your water's gonna be, disconnected and you'll be, for X amount of hours or whatever. They'll tell you, they'll notice you, a little bit in advance, a couple days in advance, if that's what they're gonna be doing for the switchover.
Thank you.
So we're gonna get better showers.
I would think so. If you're on a 2-inch water main and you're getting a big water main, yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, and I think that was one of the, actually on 18th, that was part of the issue. They knew that this area up here in the northwest was it low pressure?
Deficient in fire flow.
Okay, so not enough fire flow, so that's part of the reason they're doing a water main up there, was that the city recognized there was an issue.
Yeah, it's always in my neighborhood. It's an issue.
I just want to make sure that I'm on record for saying I definitely prefer bump outs, bulb outs all along F Street, ideally with trees, rather than just straight.
Okay.
Yes, I agree.
Right. Anything else? Any other questions or comments? I'm glad you all came. As I said, we want to hear everyone's comments and suggestions. It helps us make a better project.
Thank you.
All right. If everybody wants to sign our sign-in sheet, if you, just so we have your email address in case we notice you with further issues. Thanks for coming.